Hi, this is MJ Durkin. I'm really excited that you're here with me for this course on listening. This is some of the best material that I have ever done on listening, asking questions. I'm actually going to be giving to you in this video series some of the best material that I have ever done as it relates to being a good listener and developing tremendous rapport in a sales call by using your listening skills. So this material, which I believe is some of the best material that I've ever done on listening, I've been teaching listening skills for probably over 15 years, different courses, different seminars where I discuss listening, asking questions, ways to develop tremendous rapport with people as you are actually listening to them, understanding them, and honoring them. So what we're going to do is we're going to lay the groundwork, the basics, giving you some of the best material that I've used over the years to create incredible rapport with my prospects and also to actually understand them and find out where they're coming from so that you can really offer the proper solution to them. So let's talk about why we don't listen well and why we need to be good listeners, because this is very important. Why don't we listen well and why we need to be good listeners? So one of the things that kind of works against us and works for us when you're first brand new in a network marketing business, one of the things that happens is you're excited. Your hopes and dreams are activated. You're pretty excited about making money. You're excited about talking to people about your business. Perfectly normal. You should be excited. Congratulations, you've done a great thing by signing on with the company of your choice and the products and the services of your choice. Fantastic. But here's one of the problems. When you first start in your business, you're excited. And when you're excited, that can work against you because you tend to talk a lot. And when we're talking, we're not listening. When we are many times we have a tendency, as we get excited about the product or service or about the opportunity, we start, and I've had many network marketers say to me, my problem is, MJ, is I scare them away. I talk too much. I try to tell them the whole thing. I meet someone in the grocery store and I start rambling on and I puke on them. I vomit all over them. And I tell them all about the opportunity and they get scared and they take off. Very, very common to have someone who's brand new in the business to be excited and have that excitement work against you. So one of the things that you need to know, certainly in network marketing, which I talk a lot about, is the idea of having good posture. And when you have good posture, you're certainly confident in your business. You're confident in what you're going to be portraying to your prospect, but you need to sometimes tone the excitement down a little bit, because in your excitement, that's where you'll talk too much. That's where you'll tend to puke all over, vomit all over the prospect, scare them away. And remember, write this down, when you are talking, you're not listening. So your excitement or your belief, while it is great, you want to make sure that you are able to temper it, that you're able to be relaxed. I always remember the example of the duck. The duck, as it skims along the water, looks very calm, very collected, head back, and just glides along. Underneath, what would we see underneath? We see those little feet, those little fins, paddling like crazy to get that nice calm. So underneath, I want you to be excited, paddling like crazy, but on the surface, I want you to be cool. I want you to be reserved. I want you to have good posture. I don't want you to jump all over people. I don't want you to give too much information. When we give people too much information, we overload them. We scare them away. Also, what happens is they think that they will have to talk like you're talking. So if you're going on and on about the product, about the ingredients, about how it's helped you, listen, great stuff, really great stuff, but hold back on it a little bit. Understand that your excitement actually can work against you, and so we don't want to puke all over our prospects and scare them away. If you're talking, you're not listening. So you need to understand that you need to pull back a little bit in your excitement. There will be a proper time to give them the information that they will need, and we'll teach you when the proper time is to deliver that. Reason number 2 that we don't listen well is that we attend training. We watch training videos. We listen to training audios. We go into the back office of our company. We see great trainers. We go to a convention. We go to a regional training, and we hear people talk about this is how you do it. This is what you say. This is how I present the opportunity. Perhaps you go to an opportunity meeting and you see your upline present, and you say, I want to emulate that. I want to do something similar to that. It's very, very common to attend training, listen to training, watch training, and again, have that work against us because we get so full of information, we think our job is to dump that information out to the prospect. We learn all these things, we watch all these videos. Again, there is a proper time and place for the information that you're learning. So one of the reasons we need to be good listeners is as we're getting trained, as we're learning about the products, as we're learning about the services, again, we're getting excited about them, and then what happens to us is we have that overload, we do what I call a product dump or an information dump on people. Again, remember that if you're getting trained, you're getting this information, you're taking notes, you're listening to audios, you're watching the leaders that you want to emulate. They're doing great presentations. That's awesome, but you want to remember that that information again needs to be used at the correct time. So the second reason that we sometimes are not good listeners is actually all of the training that we receive from the great companies that we're associated with. Number 3, we believe that our job is to sell. We believe that our job is to, as you've heard me say, make a recommendation, and we believe that that means talking. And so we've pretty much been taught that people that sell talk a lot. The old expressions, he could sell ice to Eskimos, he could talk a dog off a meat wagon, he could sell brass knuckles to Gandhi. Boy, that's a person who can really talk and can get people to take action or to do things. Certainly we have to have some amount of ability to present and to talk to people. But if you think that your job is to continually be talking and speaking to people, and that's what selling is all about, I'm here to tell you that really good salespeople, professional network marketers, people that are great persuaders and influencers. That's what you are. You're a persuader and you're an influencer. If you're able to do that, then you are not just a good talker, but you are also able to listen to your client. One of the things I've often said in my seminars is that my natural tendency, me, MJ, my natural tendency is not to be a good listener. I've had to really, over the years, train myself to be an excellent listener. And I'm always thinking of the next thing to say. I'm always thinking of the next example I can use, or the next story, or the next testimonial, or the next way that I can close the sale or make the recommendation. It's who I am. I'm an extrovert. I'm used to talking. But what I've learned over the years is that in order for me to really be effective, that it is really more important for me to ask good questions, and especially in the beginning of a sales call, to listen. And I'm going to teach you as we go through a series of 10 very active steps that you need for listening to help you to understand and to stay on track with your prospect, to really create incredible rapport, bonding, and to really truly understand what is up for your prospect, what they need help with, where they're hurting, and how to offer a proper solution. So you need to understand that just because you are in a proactive, if you will, a sales-related business, and certainly in network marketing, one of your jobs is to tell your story. I'm not going to say that you're not supposed to tell your story. You are supposed to tell your story, but it is much better if you tell your story after you have listened really carefully, intently, that you really honor your prospect. Good selling and building a network marketing business does not mean talking and presenting a lot. It means listening, it means receiving, and it means asking good questions. Why should we be better listeners? Why do we need to be good listeners? When we listen to people, number 4, when we become better listeners, we honor the people that we listen to. I have a saying that says that if the way you act in one area of your life, you will act that same way in other areas of your life. And I think there's no better place than in sales to learn how to listen to people, to learn how to be attentive to people, to learn how to really truly receive what they're saying. When we do that, we honor them. And so if you become a good listener in sales, you'll also become a good listener in your personal life. You will instantly find that your relationships, your communication with people will increase. Your retention will increase. Your understanding of them will increase. One of the great things that the great trainer Stephen Covey taught us was, he said, to seek to understand rather than to be understood. He borrowed from one of the great saints of all time, St. Francis, a really great place to borrow from. Certainly to understand someone, to really truly understand them, honors them. It's a great skill to have. It's a great skill to have for your personal life as well as your business life. And you'll find that when you really honor people by really seeking to understand what they have to say rather than you being understood by what you want to tell them or what you want to say, it'll reap tremendous benefits for you and dividends in your network marketing business, in a selling career. It's really one of the keys to great communication. Number 5, when you're a good listener, when you really key in on what somebody is really saying, you're really understanding what they're really trying to tell you, and you're really getting into their world. Okay, very important to get into their world, get out of your head and get into their world. You create tremendous rapport with them. People can feel it. I'll often say, and you'll hear me say in my seminars, that I've had people say to me in a sales interview, MJ, I don't know why I like you so much. I've literally had people say to me, I don't know why we're signing this contract with you, but we feel comfortable with you. We feel that you're telling us the truth. And I truly believe that one of the reasons that I've had success in selling is because I have learned and forced myself literally to not to be my natural self, to be the presenter, to be the talker, to talk a dog off a meat wagon, but to actually really seek to understand and to listen. And when you listen, when you're really listening to people in your sales life and in your business life, you will find that it will create tremendous rapport. People will feel close to you, they will feel honored, and they will feel that you're really listening to them. And this is such a crucial communication skill. People need to know that you care. If you are going to be talking to them about your network marketing business, it is very important for them to know that you do care about your product, that you care about the company, and that you care about them and their situation. So when you're a good listener, you show people that you understand them. And it is a gift that you give to them, but it will also create bonding. It will create trust. Remember that people buy from people that they like and they trust. That has never changed since Dale Carnegie came up with that saying in 1912, I believe, the year the Titanic went down. I always thought we needed some new material, but that's one that doesn't need to be new. That is a great line. People buy from people they like and trust. And if you are a good listener, if you have good listening skills, if people really feel that you understand them, you'll create a great bonding and a great rapport. And again, it will pay you dividends for years and years to come in your career. Number 6, another reason that you want to be a good listener is that as humans, we tend to be extremely I-centered. We can't help it. We're selfishly wired. That's who we are. We are concerned about our own welfare. We're concerned about our own commissions, about our own volume, about our own income. We're concerned about our own families, things that are important to us. It's very, very normal to be I-centered. I remember Dale Carnegie telling the story in his book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, how he went to a party and he spoke with a woman there at the party, and he asked her questions about herself. And literally he asked her a number of questions, and she talked to him for 30, 40, 50 minutes and just went on and on and on and on, and she just talked and talked and talked. And Mr. Carnegie got a letter or a phone call from somebody the next day that said, my friend said that you were the most scintillating conversationalist that she had ever met. And Carnegie's comment was, that was pretty hysterical to me. I thought that was very interesting, since I barely said 10 words in the entire conversation. And yet, because he asked her questions about herself, she was very entertained by him. She wanted to talk about herself because she was I-centered. And again, it's a very common, we can't get away from the fact that we are I-centered, that we are interested in what we believe, what we think, how it impacts us. So we need to understand that it is really kind of an unnatural process for us to actually focus on someone else and to ask them questions and to find out what's important to them. It reminds me of the famous line of Bette Midler in Beaches, as she catches up with her friend, I think her name was Hillary, and she goes on and on, this is what I've been doing, this is what I've been doing this, I've been doing this, and then she says, so, now that I've told you all about myself, what do you think about me? An incredibly I-centered comment, done in a comical way, but that's who we are. We are concerned about what we think, our needs, and the reason that we need to really focus, and we need training on how to be a good listener, is because of this I-centeredness. And the more that you can get out of being I-centered, and you can get focused on the prospect, focused on your potential customer, focused on your potential distributor, recruit, rep, consultant, whatever you call them as you bring them into the fold of your business, the more you can focus on them and you can listen to them, you'll find that your success in selling products and your success in recruiting will go way up. Now, most importantly, number 7. Number 7 is we need to offer the proper solution. We need to match our presentation to what our prospect is needing, what they're wanting, where they're hurting, or where they need help. So this is very, very critical. You want to be a good listener, because in order to do a correct presentation, I call them customer designed presentations. You've heard of a custom design presentation, but this is a customer design presentation. And what a customer design presentation is it is the customer actually telling you how they need to be sold. Your customers, your prospects, your potential recruits, they will tell you exactly how they want to be sold if you will listen, if you will focus on them, and if you will really seek to understand them. You should never be giving a presentation until you find out what the customer needs, what the customer is hurting about, what the customer wants. Because quite frankly, let's go back to number 1, where we puke on people, we vomit on them, we do a product dump on them. The reason we do a product dump on them is because we're trying the shotgun approach. We're trying to cover every base and hope that something hits. That's a way to alienate prospects. That's a way to push people away. That's a way to dump so much on them that they're completely overloaded. You want to avoid that by simply presenting to them what they're most interested in and what they're most concerned about. That's the real key. The real key is that if you can listen well and you can watch your prospect and you can really focus on what they're concerned about, then simply, if you've had 25 hours of training, you may just need that one particular thing about your opportunity or your product that will make the sale. You don't need to give them 25 hours worth of product dump. You don't need to give them the ingredients, how the products were sourced, the story of how the product was developed. Now you may, if that's what they need, but in most cases, probably 80 to 90% of the things that we learn in training that we have, stored, in our heads and about our product or service or our company, we don't need. We simply need to ask good questions and find out what our prospect needs and then make a presentation. Could be a very quick presentation to filling that need, to helping them solve their hurt or their problem. And so number 7 is in order to offer the right solution, we need to be good listeners. It's the right thing to do. You will always want to be developing your listening skills. You always want to be focusing on how you can understand your prospect the best so that you can offer the proper solution and ultimately you can help them. And let's not forget that. If we're listening to people, we have the ability to help them. Many of your customers have all kinds of different issues and problems. With all of the great things that your products solve, for every single thing that your products solve, that means that your prospect usually has some area that they're hurting or they have trouble in. In order to help them, you've got to listen to them so that you can apply the proper product, the proper service, the proper opportunity to help solve whatever their problem is. So when you're a good listener, you're helping people. So these are many of the reasons that we should be interested in why we need to be good listeners, why it should be something that you should study, something that you should get good at, and something that you should focus on. And when you do that, when you become a great listener, you will become a very successful business owner. You'll become a very successful relationship marketer. You'll become a tremendously a great and successful and profitable salesperson, and you'll help a lot of people. So let's go on to the next level, and let's start talking about, in our next section, we're actually going to discuss very specific rules and things that you need to do to increase your listening skills and to help your prospects.